Good afternoon. The games continue to come thick and fast. We're going to chart the progress of all today's football matches between now and the final whistles. Here in the studio, alongside Gavin, Peacock and Garth Crooks, the man in the middle is Graham Pole. After 27 years of refereeing, Graham is still hearing dissenting voices. Manchester City 3, Newcastle 1's a final score already in. Rangers drew at Motherwell. More details on those matches will follow. The latest news now on the games where the result is still undecided. Chelsea are playing Fulham at Stamford Bridge. Let's hear from Ivan Gaskell.
And this game has suddenly taken a very odd twist. 15 minutes left. Didier Drogba has been sent off here for a second bookable offence. He was booked in the first half for his dissent when he felt he should have had a penalty, and now a very high tackle on a Fulham player who's getting treatment, who I can't quite see who it is. The guys in the studio may well be able to see a little better than I who it is, but the one thing I can tell you is that Drogba is off. The game and the jury still 0-0, and the jury out on Avram Grant's new Chelsea. It's not been a thriller, this one. Shevchenko's gone off, substituted 10 minutes into the second half. Beyond that, Terry didn't reappear for the second half. I can tell you that Chris Baird was the man that was on the end of Didier Drogba's boot. Drogba's off, it's 0-0.
Chelsea fans together en masse for the first time since Jose Mourinho departed. Looks like Portsmouth are going to take 3 points, 4 up now at home to Reading. Having let 4 precious points slip away in successive drawn games, Liverpool have put extra pressure on themselves to win away at Wigan. Damien Johnson reporting.
I can tell you, Ray, that Liverpool have just ended their Premier League drought. Yossi Benayoun on as a second-half substitute skipped through the Wigan defence to score. Before that, Liverpool huffed and puffed, lacked a bit of inspiration, really. Lots of endeavour, but no final product. Fernando Torres is playing. He squandered 2 great chances in the first half to put Liverpool ahead. Gerrard has come more into the game in the second half. He fired narrowly wide and produced a driving run and cross, but there was no one on the end of it. Credits Wigan, Bramble, Boyce and Melchiot have all been massive in defence for Wigan, apart from conceding that goal. They've threatened on occasion. Wigan, Paul Scharner had a good chance, but he wasted it when well placed. But Benayoun's goal has ended the drought. Liverpool ahead, 1-0.
7 of Cardiff's 8 points have been away from home. Looks like they're going to get 3 more. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank with the winner on 73 minutes. It appears at this stage away at Barnsley. Plenty of time for that to change. Hibs 3, Kilmarnock 1. Hibs' unbeaten record is going to continue. Top of the table Arsenal in the Barclays Premier League went into an away game at West Ham unbeaten. Tony Lockwood reports from Upton Park.
It's West Ham 0, Arsenal 1. Robin van Persie the difference. His first half-headed goal put the leaders in front. Set up by Alexander Kleb. Kleb led us stretch it off on the receiving end of a nasty Mark Noble challenge. Van Persie's crushed his shot against the post. Adebayor kept out by Robert Green. For West Ham, Freddie Ljungberg saw his effort ruled out for offside. Dean Ashton has headed straight into the arms of Almunia. It's warming up at Ashton Park in a London derby. It's West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
Celtic going back to the top of the table in Scotland. Rangers drew 1-1 at lunchtime. Celtic taking 3 points with a home win against Dundee United. Scott McDonald with a hat-trick. Portsmouth difficult to beat at home. Reading's away form was 1 point from 9 when they arrived at Fratton Park. Quite a game. Dominic Cotton reporting.
Absolutely, Ray. Yes, quite a game. Difficult to take your eyes off this one. Portsmouth 4, Reading 2, and Portsmouth dominated the first half, and Banjani scored 2 very good goals to put them firmly in charge. Reading were then thrown a lifeline in the 45th minute. Stephen Hunt converting after a real goalmouth scramble. Minutes into the second half, David James inexplicably went walkabout, and Dave Kitson beat him to the ball before firing into an empty net. Herman Hreidarsson has then put Portsmouth back in charge after Sylvain Distan's decent ball. It's been time for James to save a penalty. I said I shouldn't look down. I can tell you now that Nico Kranjčar has made it 5-2. I was reading from my notes, so didn't see exactly what happened, but it is 5-2. I said I shouldn't look down. I think you get the picture. I think we can safely say now that Portsmouth will win this one. 5-2 they lead, and we've got 15 or so minutes left to play.
And no change at Stamford Bridge. Some nervy moments for Chelsea. At Pride Park, it's bottom club Derby versus second bottom Bolton. Andrew James.
Great. Derby 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. It's been an interesting game without being exciting between two sides who both will fancy winning this match. Bolton have just gone really close, though. A treble effort, if you like. Bywater's great save from the substitute Christiansen. Anelka's follow-up came back off the bar, and Nola's attempted tap-in was cleared off the line by Pearson. A couple of efforts for Derby from Miller and Howard, but it's Derby 1, Bolton 1.
To a Weir side now. Steve Sutton's watching the Sunderland-Blackburn match.
Yes, Ray, it's Sunderland 0, Blackburn 2. 2 second-half goals in as many minutes, turning the game completely on its head. The Sunderland defence inexplicably going AWOL to allow David Bentley, then Santa Cruz, to convert the easiest of touches. There's a steady trickle of fans leaving. The Sunderland faithful don't think there's any way back. I'm inclined to agree.
We'll be back and forth to all those grounds between now and the final whistles. Here's the full story of the Manchester City-Newcastle game that finished just under 2 hours ago. Alistair Mann reporting.
This was a game which typified how different Manchester City have become to the side who ended so disappointingly last season. When Obafemi Martins put Newcastle ahead just before the half hour here, rather than drop their heads, they simply carried on doing what they've been doing so successfully this campaign and knocked the ball around using Elano as their pivot. His part in City's equaliser was integral as Martin Petrov scored his third goal in 7 days. And then, just after half-time, Petrov then turned provider for the tireless Emil Mpenza to put City ahead. It was, though, Elano's day, and when he fired the most unstoppable of free kicks into Shea Given's net, it completed a win which marks Sven-Göran Eriksson's side out as genuine top-4 material. It finished Manchester City 3, Newcastle United 1.
City 100% at home. Did Didier Drogba deserve to get sent off? What was your reading of the incident?
100% deserved to be sent off. I think the referee made a slight error. He gave him a second yellow card and a red. The challenge itself is a straight red card challenge. Dreadful challenge, more like karate, we were saying here. What Drogba's got to look at is he was cautioned in the first half for dissent, for arguing about a decision. If it was a second yellow card, what a waste that is, getting cautioned for dissent in the first half and then sent off. But really, should have been straight red. 3 matches, he'll only get 1.
What's missing from Chelsea's performance this afternoon? Is it the Mourinho effect? The crowd will be feeding on that. What's wrong with Chelsea?
At the moment, what's missing is Shevchenko, Terry and Cole. They're all off the pitch. Plus the fact Sean Wright-Phillips, Lampard and Cavalli all injured. Life without Mourinho is clearly not going to be easy.
They should have enough despite all that, shouldn't they?
Well, they haven't at the moment. Now, they've still got a point so far. They're 10 men down. I think it's critical for Avram Grant that he doesn't lose this game. Because if he loses the game, I think what little bit of support he has from the Chelsea faithful will start to slip away from him.
I think the Chelsea faithful won't like a draw. What about the Arsenal away at West Ham?
Well, it's been a decent game, and to be honest, Lundberg's had a goal ruled out, which it was offside. It was a good call, but it's been a little bit more even in the second half, Ray. I mean, Van Persie's hit the post one end. We've had the disallowed goal, and it's a good game of football as we expected. Arsenal just shading it, really.
Let's hear about Celtic. They're playing Dundee United and look like they're going back to the top of the table. Well, they will go back to the top of the table. Brian McLaughlin.
They certainly will, Ray. Celtic 3, Dundee United 0. Scott McDonald with a hat-trick after 8, 67 and 71 minutes. His first, who replaced Jan Vingegaard of Hesselink after half an hour, has also passed up a couple of real chances. United have been much more of a threat in the second half, but Celtic, and in particular Scott McDonald, have been played 79 minutes here at Parkhead, and it's Celtic 3, Dundee United 0.
7 games into the season, Hibs were the only unbeaten team in the Scottish Premier League when they ran out for a home game with Kilmarnock. Ian Turner's following the game for final score.
Yes, it's a Hibernian 4, Kilmarnock 1 with just 7 minutes to go, and here's an unusual one. 3 times Clayton Donaldson's been brought down in the box, 3 penalties, he's got himself up, scored with 2 of them. Coombs saved 1, however he did score an open play, so he's got his hat-trick. Antoine Courier's also scored for Hibs, and Colin Nish has got a consolation for Kilmarnock, 4-1.
Nottingham Forest look like they're getting their 3rd successive win. Don't forget, Yeovil beat them in the promotion playoffs at the end of the season. Took 4 to win so far this season. Now they're going to get 3 wins on the bounce. Junior Agogo on 79 minutes with the 2nd goal. To Scotland, again, here's the story behind Rangers' trip to Motherwell. Julia Ferrington reporting.
Motherwell proved Walter Smith's recent analogy that this season would see a stronger group of clubs below the old firm. They more than matched their opponents' first half and showed great resilience second to deny Rangers all 3 points. They deservedly went ahead through Chris Porter's 25th minute strike. Ross McCormack could have made it 2-0 on the half hour, only for his cross-come shot to smack off the crossbar. Rangers almost levelled right on the break, but they too were denied by the woodwork. Chris Boyd, though, made no mistake when he was presented with an opportunity from the penalty spot. DeMarcus Beasley, the player brought down, and with 22 minutes to go, struck low with his right foot to earn a share of the points.
Cracking game at Fratton Park. Dominic Cotton.
The drama continues here. It's 5-3 now. James Harper, the man to put Reading back into the game. His shot deflected past a very, very angry David James. 5-3. We've still got 10 minutes left to play.
Watford kicked off top of the table in the Championship. Blackpool turned up at Vicarage Road, hoping they could dent the Hornets' 100% home record. Steve May reporting.
Well, they're doing that right now, Ray, because Blackpool, who have a habit this season of scoring late in the game, have just equalised. Gary Taylor-Fletcher brought down, according to referee Mr Beebe, by a challenge from Shitu in the penalty box, and Wes Hoolahan converted the penalty. This was moments after Tommy Smith missed a free header at the far post, which would have put Watford 2 up. Adam Johnson putting Watford ahead with a super free kick at the end of the first half. And I can tell you that in this match, Blackpool are wearing black armbands in tribute to their cup hero Bill Perry, who died yesterday. It's 1-1.
It is quite a game at Fratton Park. Dominic Cotton.
It's now 6-3. Sean Davis has scored the 6th of the day for the home side. Quite a bizarre goal. He just he hammered it from 20 or 25 yards, and Marcus Hanneman appeared unsighted and went the wrong way. This game is ridiculous.
Reading won last week after 3 defeats. This is a heavy defeat, conceding 6 goals this afternoon. Let's get news on other games so far this afternoon. In League One, Orient's unbeaten run came to an end last Saturday, but they kicked off top of the table away at Bristol Rovers. Steve Lee reporting.
Well, it's now Bristol Rovers 2, Orient 2, and Martin Ling, the Orient manager, he asked for commitment from his side, and they've fought back. They've overturned a 2-0 lead from Bristol Rovers, 2 Richard Walker penalties, and now Tamika Kandawere has hit the second goal for Orient after Wayne Gray had pulled a goal back. Terrific character from the league leaders. They needed to show it here. It's now 2-2.
Tranmere Rovers in second place with 2 down. They've pulled a goal back at home to Northampton this afternoon. Tranmere Rovers unbeaten in 6, Northampton unbeaten in 4. Staying in League One, when today's game at Gillingham kicked off, Leeds would have been 5 points clear at the top were it not for their 15-point deduction. As it stood, they were a point above the relegation places thanks to their 7-game winning run. Robin Bailey reporting.
It's Gillingham 0, Leeds 1, and they've got 6 minutes to go before they create that club record of 8 successive league wins post-war. Terrific effort by Leeds. They're down to 9 men. Both their strikers have been sent off, Trezor Candle and Jermaine Beckford. The referees sent off far too many players in this game. Mr. Picky, but I have to say Leeds have been fantastic, particularly their captain Jonathan Douglas. Gillingham pushing, but it's 1-0 Leeds.
Well, they knocked Manchester United out of the Carling Cup. Coventry have stumbled in the league in recent weeks. They're up against the Charlton side, unbeaten in 5 championship games. Latest news from David Garrido.
And Coventry have just equalised, Ray. Coventry 1, Charlton 1. Much more urgency, plenty of chances for the home side in the second half, and finally something to show for it. And it's that man again, Michael Mifsud, who scored both goals in the midweek Carling Cup win at Old Trafford. Finally finding the net after hitting the post in the first half. It's Coventry 1, Charlton 1.
They're chanting Jose Mourinho's name at Stamford Bridge. Bristol Rovers against Leyton Orient. Development, Steve Lee.
Yes, it's now Bristol Rovers 2, Orient 3. What a comeback by Martin Ling's side. The young sub, Jason Dimitriou, who has now nabbed the 3rd goal after a terrible error by Steve Elliott at the back for Rovers. It was a terrible mistake. Jabu Abire just crossed the ball, and Dimitriou made it 3-2. 3-2, now they lead.
It's a home game at Stoke City for Leicester City. That's on the back of their Carling Cup victory over Premier League Aston Villa. Mark Webber reporting.
Leicester fans must be as confused as a 4-year-old sitting a PhD exam. For large parts, they've had the ball and the opportunity, but they've allowed Stoke quick opportunities to come back. Ricardo Fuller scored the first goal in the first half. He took advantage of that. Matty Fryer came on as a super stub. He scored the second. 1-1.
To Turf Moor now. Mark Bishop's watching the Burnley Crystal Palace game.
Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 1. The visitors will be pleased if they can secure a point, Ray, against a Burnley side who remain unbeaten at home this season. Palace took that early lead. Hudson with a free header at the far post, and then Duff got the faintest of touches on Gray's 40-yard free kick. Since then, Burnley have been throwing everything at Palace. 2 terrific saves from Corrali has denied Andy Gray. And we've just seen a terrific 30-yarder from the number 20, Robbie Blake. 1-1 at Turf Moor.
7 of Cardiff's 8-point total has been won away from home. They're playing away at Barnsley, who ran out unbeaten in 3. Harry Grayson reporting.
Great match as well, Ray. 1-1. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank gave Cardiff a deserved lead on 73 minutes with a good header, but Brian Howard with an equally effective header equalised for Barnsley on 84. It's all Barnsley at the moment, 1-1.
Yeah, Plymouth and Wolves need a win to keep right on the heels of the leading group. Hamish Marshall.
It's Plymouth 1, Wolves 1. The visitors should be out of sight, such was their dominance for an hour, but they only had Stephen Elliott's goal to show for it, and 5 minutes after coming on, substitutes Rory Fallon and Nick Chadwick teamed up for an undeserved Plymouth equaliser, and all of a sudden we've got 2 teams chasing this game. 1-1.
Colchester were terrific at home last season, but they were looking for their first home win of this campaign when they ran out for today's game with Scunthorpe. Both teams mid-table at kick-off. Latest news from Jared Young.
And the only difference between the two teams is a Paul Hayes goal on 40 minutes. Scunthorpe still leading 1-0, but Colchester have totally dominated the second half. Time is running out for them, though, now. We only have 4 minutes left to play.
Late winner for Oldham, perhaps, at Boundary Park at home to Crewe. Neil Kilkenny in the 90th minute. Oldham 3, Crewe 2. Good at home, poor away. Same story for Sheffield United and Southampton going into the game. Alan Biggs is watching at Bramall Lane.
Yeah, Sheffield United 1, Southampton 2. It's easy to diagnose the problems of both teams. They can score, they can't keep them out, though it does make for great entertainment. Keith Gillespie put United ahead early, then Gregors Raziak and John Fiafara replied. That's all before half-time. Paddy Kenny to blame for the Saints' second, and they still lead a more dominant United by 2-1.
Bristol City promoted unbeaten away at Preston. Richard Askham.
0-0 Bristol. Taking the deadlock race, Scott Murray jinking and tricking his way into the box before smashing a brilliant effort against the bar. Before that, Preston have been pressing. Neil Mellor going closest for the home side with an instinctive shot just over. 0-0.
Still time for the situation to change. In the Barclays Premier League, top of the table Arsenal away at West Ham. Tony Lockwood.
Still West Ham 0, Arsenal 1 a moment ago. Dean Ashton's goal-bound header hacked away 3 yards off his own line. Robin Van Persie. Van Persie with the first half goal. Robert Green in that home goal with 2 excellent saves. First from Clichy, then from Flamini. It's been an excellent game. Arsenal lead by a single goal.
Chelsea riding their luck at Stamford Bridge. Ivan Gaskell.
Oh boy, are they. We're into the final minutes here, 3 minutes of added time, but it's all Fulham in these later stages. They've had 3 really good chances. Kamara's just swept the ball across the face of goal, and Dempsey was inches away from connecting. It would have been the winner. Before that, Konchesky one-on-one with Cech. Cech just made a desperate last-minute save. Bawatsa's had a chance too. At this stage, it looks like Fulham could win it. They're hanging on here.
A goal of the Stadium of Light, Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray. Sunderland 1, Blackburn 2. Sunderland getting a real name for themselves for last gasp goals, and they've got one back here through Grant Leadbitter steering its side foot into the net past Brad Friedel from the edge of the box. The referees signalled 4 extra minutes. Have we got a shock on hand? Sunderland 1, Blackburn 2.
Hibs remain unbeaten in the Scottish Premier League. Wigan, Liverpool, Damien Johnson.
The dying moments here, Ray, and Wigan have just squandered a gilt-edged chance to get a point. Julius Agger-Hauer with a goal at his mercy, headed wide. Liverpool still ahead through Yossi Benayoun's second half goal. It's 1-0 to Liverpool still.
Latest on the Derby-Bolton game. Still time for these matches to be won or lost. Andrew James.
Deep into stoppage time here, Ray. Still Derby 1, Bolton 1, but somehow Bolton missed a chance to win the game just a few moments ago. The cross coming in from the substitute McCann and the Nelker's flying header just failing to connect. Still Derby 1, Bolton 1.
The bottom 2 teams in the Premier League in England as it stands. Final whistle starting to sound all round the country. East Fife have had a decent day, haven't they? Top of Scottish Division 3. East Fife 7, Stenhouse Muir 0. Hibs against Kilmarnock, Ian Turner.
Final score, Hibs 4, Kilmarnock 1. 3 times Clayton Donaldson was felled in the Kilmarnock box. Ryan O'Leary was red-carded for the final one. 3 times Donaldson picked himself up, dusted himself down, took the spot kick, and twice he scored. An earlier goal in open play meant the lively striker had a hat-trick as Hibs turned in a superb performance to stay in touch with Celtic and Rangers at the top. Michael-Antoine Courier also netted for John Collins' side, while substitute Colin Nish got Killy's consolation. This was great, highly watchable stuff from Hibs. They beat Kilmarnock 4-1.
9-man leads, trying to hang on away at Gillingham, trying to make it 8 wins on the bounce. Robin Bailey.
They haven't done it. They're not going to get that record. Gillingham have equalised. Ian Cox at the far post from a corner. They couldn't hold out the 9 men. They have played brilliantly, Leeds. They're not going to be happy with the referee, I can tell you that. At least one of those sendings off was not warranted. But Leeds are drawing here, 1-1, 4 minutes left.
Notts County unbeaten at home so far this season. They've beaten Chesterfield by 1-0, second successive defeat of the season for Chesterfield. Final whistle has gone at Pride Park. Andrew James.
Derby 1, Bolton 1. Neither side especially pleased with this result, Ray, I'd imagine, especially as both had plenty of opportunities to win the game. 1-1 at half-time. Kenny Miller's fine goal for the Rams, cancelled out by a deflected Nicholas Anelka shot for Bolton. Highlight of the second half, a 3-in-1 chance for Bolton. Christensen, Anelka and Nolan all denied tied within 20 seconds of each other, but you have to sense it's 2 points lost for both of these struggling teams.
Let's go to the JJB Stadium. A relieved Rafa Benitez. Wigan playing Liverpool. Damien Johnson.
Yes, a second-half goal from substitute Yossi Benayoun brought Liverpool's frustration to an end. That was their first Premier League goal in over 4 hours of football. Benayoun skipped through the Wigan defence to notch his first Premier League goal for Liverpool. Before that, they'd shown plenty of endeavour, but not much inspiration. Fernando Torres kept his place in the starting lineup, but wasted 3 excellent scoring opportunities, the best in the first half, missing the target with an overhead kick when well placed. Wigan had defended stoutly and threatened the Liverpool goal on occasions. Julius Agahawa missed a gilt-edged chance to equalise, but his header went wide with the goal at his mercy in injury time. 1-0 the final score, Liverpool.
Let's go to Stamford Bridge and well-played Fulham. Avram Grant will be hearing the Chelsea fans singing the name of Jose Mourinho. Chelsea failing to win. Ivan Gaskell.
0-0, down to 10 men for the last 20 minutes after Drogba's dismissal. They may have been, but Chelsea really a pale shadow of the side that swept all before them in Jose Mourinho's first 2 seasons. Today they were far from convincing. Chances few, really. Fulham able to worry them without ever looking truly dangerous. Though dangerous did describe Didier Drogba's second-half lunge on Baird. It earned a second yellow. It might have been a straight red. Konchesky could have won it for Fulham, but Cech saved as he bore down on goal late on. Dempsey so close too. For goalless Chelsea hanging on at the end, a case of September morn. 0-0.
Not good for Chelsea. Terrific afternoon for Portsmouth. Dominic Cotton.
It's not finished yet, Ray, but it's 7-3 to Portsmouth here. I'm sure that's some kind of record. I'll have a dig about and see if I can find out. But Suleiman Tari has just made it 7-3 after Sean Davis was felled in the box, and it's been a miserable time for Marcus Hanneman in the Reading goal. I don't suppose he's let 7 goals in his professional career. 7-3, and we've still got a couple of minutes of injury time to play.
Well, Reading's season is being rocked. They're conceding goals. Great season last year. Need to steady the ship this time round. Final whistle at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland playing Blackburn. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Ray, it's finished Sunderland 1, Blackburn 2. 2 second-half goals in as many minutes, ripping the heart out of Sunderland and turning this match on its head. Up to then, the home side had more than matched Blackburn, might have even nicked it. But inexplicably, the defence went AWOL twice on the 53rd and 54th minutes. That allowed first David Bentley, then Roque Santa Cruz to score the easiest of goals. Grant Ledbetter side-footed into the corner of the Blackburn net to set up a do-or-die final 5 minutes, but it wasn't to be for Sunderland. One major controversy in the first half, Brad Friedel's diving challenge on Michael Chopra in the box. Was it or wasn't it a penalty? The ref said not. Match of the day's analysis should be interesting.
Warning signs for Sunderland at the moment. Let's move to the Championship. The leaders Watford at home to Blackpool. Steve May.
Watford 1, Blackpool 1. A controversial penalty decision giving Blackpool an equaliser through Wes Hoolahan in the latter stages of the second half. But Tommy Smith missed a free header and hit the crossbar from 8 yards at the end, either which would have won it for Watford. Finished 1-1.
David Garrido's watching Charlton, who kicked off in second place away at Coventry.
And it's finished Coventry 1, Charlton 1. Michael Mifsud's 3rd goal in 2 games, rescuing a point for the home side, flashing a right-footed shot past Nicky Weaver from inside the box with just 5 minutes left. Such an improvement from Coventry in the second half. Charlton had been in total control before then and duly taken the lead through Lloyd Sam after a quarter of an hour. Chris Iwelumo should have won it for the visitors in the dying minutes with a diving header, but a pulsating game has finished Coventry 1, Charlton 1.
Well, Chelsea fans gathered en masse for the first time since Jose Mourinho's departure this afternoon. It was to watch a local derby with Fulham at Stamford Bridge. John Motson commentated on the game for Match of the Day. Here's his observations on the mood of the bridge.
Jose Mourinho echoing around Stamford Bridge here. This was an extraordinary afternoon, and for Chelsea it got worse and worse. To start with, Essien was wiped out by injury. John Terry went off at half-time with what's rumoured to be a fractured cheekbone. Didier Drogba sent off in the second half for 2 yellow cards, and to cap it all, Laurie Sanchez's Fulham could have won the game with 2 great chances in the last 10 minutes, one in particular for Diamanski Camara. And frankly, the first home game for Avram Grant here ended with with Chelsea hanging on to protect what's now a record of 67 home Premiership games unbeaten. This was not in the script. Chelsea played OK in the first half, couldn't break through. It's now 427 minutes, forgive my maths if that's one out, since Chelsea scored a Premiership goal, certainly not in September, and certainly not the way that Avram Grant wanted to mark his first home game in charge. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. What a story.
Yeah, more on that to come. Portsmouth against Reading, Dominic Cotton.
It finished Portsmouth 7, Reading 4, and I'm sure that if you looked up quickly at the screen, you might think you'd flicked to the wrong channel and were watching the Rugby World Cup. This was as much about poor defending as good attacking. Portsmouth deserved the win, and Benjani his hat-trick. Hunt and Kitson exploited silly errors to give Reading hope, but their own defence went missing. Ryderson, Cranchard, Davis and Montari, the other Pompey men getting on the score sheet. Harper and Shorey, incidentally, the other men on target for Reading. On form, this was the predicted result. No one expected to see 10 goals, though.
Celtic against Dundee United. Celtic, the champions, going back to the top of the table. Brian McLaughlin.
Yes, Celtic 3, Dundee United 0, and as you say, Ray, back to the top of the SPL table and ideal preparation for Wednesday night's crucial Champions League match at home to AC Milan. Scott McDonald, a hero this afternoon with a hat-trick, his first goals for the club. Only Samatilski and the United goal denied Celtic a more emphatic scoreline. Final score here at Parkhead, Celtic 3, Dundee United 0.
Is there a sting in the tail for Arsenal away at West Ham? Tony Lockwood.
Into time added on, still West Ham 0, Arsenal 1, and it looks as if there'll be no end in sight to Arsenal's fabulous start to the season. Robin van Persie heading in front from an Alexander Kleb cross. He might have had a second, his strike came back off the post. For West Ham, Freddie Ljungberg found the net, but his effort was ruled out for offside. Dean Ashton chasing a fourth goal in as many games, almost achieved that feat. Arsenal on the brink of another victory, not long left at Upton Park. It's West Ham 0, Arsenal 1.
Still playing there. So, well, the atmosphere at the Bridge is clearly going to dominate everything. What did you notice about Chelsea's performance today, Graham?
Well, it was a flat performance. You know, they're obviously missing players. Essien just before the game drops out. Wright Phillips injured, but then to lose John Terry. Now, for me, it's an interesting one. I'm disagreeing with the guys, which won't surprise people. I think he's been caught by an elbow, and it's caused a big problem with his cheekbone. And John, being a brave player that he is, he's carried on to half-time. They've decided he can't continue. That's a big loss. He could be out for a little while.
With an elbow, do you see anything untoward in that, or was it an accidental?
I think you shouldn't challenge with your arm like that. He didn't throw the elbow into the face, but he's caught him with the elbow. Probably a yellow card would have been the right punishment for the offence.
Before the game, we're saying that people move on and the Chelsea fans were giving Avram Grant a chance. But as the mood developed over the afternoon, on one result, the mood at the end of it was, well, this is not good enough.
Well, any act that was going to follow Jose Mourinho was going to be a difficult one. Make no mistake about that. It's helped if the person that you bring in to replace him is a big figure. Avram Grant is not a big figure in anybody's imagination. Now, that doesn't help him. But today's performance was less than flat. It was pretty dire, I thought.
What's your view, Gavin, of Chelsea this afternoon? Well done, Fulham, we should say.
Well done, Fulham. Give them credit. Chelsea had most of the pressure without having the cutting edge. But the fact is, they've lost a great leader in Mourinho. You've got to then replace him with someone equally or more influential. Doesn't seem to be the case with Grant. And then you've lost Terry, Lampard in the background as well. Final
whistle at Upton Park. Arsenal top of the table and still unbeaten. Well, Garth, it's a huge win for them, really, isn't it?
It is a
They're
big
now
win.
unbeaten in 14 overall.
It's a big win, and what Arsene Wenger is doing is keeping the momentum going. It wasn't one of their classic performances today, Arsenal. The fans are happy. They've gone to Upton Park. They've got the result. They're delighted, and so they should be.
Quite an afternoon. All the results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgeon to confirm today's final scores.
And the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City and Manchester United kick off at 5:15. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. Derby County 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Manchester City 3, Newcastle United 1. Portsmouth 7, Reading 4. Sunderland 1, Blackburn Rovers 2. West Ham United 0, Arsenal 1. Wigan Athletic 0, Liverpool 1. The Coca-Cola Championship, Barnsley 1, Cardiff City 1. Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 1. Colchester United 0, Scunthorpe United 1. Coventry City 1, Charlton Athletic 1. Hull City 3, Ipswich Town 1. Leicester City 1, Stoke City 1. Norwich City and Sheffield Wednesday kick off at 5:20. Plymouth Argyle 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Preston North End 0, Bristol City 0. Sheffield United 1, Southampton 2. Watford 1, Blackpool 1. The Coca-Cola League 1, Bournemouth 1, Carlisle United 3. Bristol Rovers 2, Leyton Orient 3. Doncaster Rovers 2, Cheltenham Town 0. Gillingham 1, Leeds United 1. Hartlepool United 0, Walsall 1. Huddersfield Town 2, Luton Town 0. Millwall 1, Swindon Town 2. Oldham Athletic 3, Crewe Alexandra 2. Port Vale 1, Southend United 2. Swansea City 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Tranmere Rovers 2, Northampton Town 2. Yeovil Town 0, Nottingham Forest 3. League 2, Barnet 2, Rotherham United 0. Bradford City 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Brentford 1, Stockport County 3. Bury 2, Accrington Stanley 1. Darlington 1, Peterborough United 1. Grimsby Town 2, Hereford United 1. Macclesfield Town 1, Chester City 2. Mansfield Town 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Morecambe 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Notts County 1, Chesterfield 0. Shrewsbury Town 3, Rochdale 4. Wrexham 1, Lincoln City 0. The Blue Square Premier, Crawley Town 0, Altrincham 1. Farsley Celtic 1, Ebbsfleet United 1, that's the latest score. Forest Green Rovers 3, Cambridge United 1. Grays Athletic 0, Stevenage Borough 2. Histon 2, Weymouth 2. Northwich Victoria 1, Woking 3. Rushton and Diamonds 1, Stafford Rangers 1. Salisbury 0, Kidderminster Harriers 1. Torquay United 2, Droylsden 1. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, Gretna 0. Celtic 3, Dundee United 0. Hibernian 4, Kilmarnock 1. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 4, Falkirk 2. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. Hernbrew Scottish Division 1, Dundee 2, Morton 1. Dunfermline Athletic 1, Partick Thistle 0. Livingston 4, Clyde 2. Green of the South 2, Stirling Albion 2. St Johnstone 4, Hamilton Academicals 1. Scottish Div 2, Ayr United 1, Peterhead 2. Brechin City 0, Wraith Rovers 1. Cowdenbeath 1, Airdrie United 1. Queen's Park 1, Berwick Rangers 0. Ross County 2, Alloa Athletic 2. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers and Forfar Athletic match postponed. East Fife 7, Stenhousemuir 0. East Stirling 2, Arbroath 3. Montrose 0, Dumbarton 1. Stranraer 3, Elgin City 3.
Late kickoffs in the Blue Square Premier. Farsley Celtic 1, Ebbsfleet United 1, latest score. Gavin Peacock, Graham Poll and Garth Crooks watch all today's English Premier League matches. We'll hear their opinions on today's performances after we've looked at all the updated league tables. And in the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal have a 3-point lead at the top following their win at West Ham. They're now unbeaten in 14 Premier League matches. Manchester City are second, for the time being at least. That's after their 3-1 success against Newcastle. Liverpool's win at Wigan lifts them to third, but Manchester United can go above them. And Manchester City, if they win at Birmingham this evening, kick off 5:15. Portsmouth up to fifth after their remarkable 7-4 win over Reading. Blackburn are sixth, just ahead of Chelsea, who find themselves 7 points behind the leaders Arsenal, and they've played a game more. No change at the foot of the table after Derby and Bolton shared the points at Pride Park in a 1-1 draw. Tottenham play Aston Villa on Monday night. Reading slipped to 17th after conceding 7 at Portsmouth. In the Coca-Cola Championship, no change at the top as the top two, Watford and Charlton, both held to draws. Bristol City also held to a stalemate at Preston, but still move up third ahead of West Brom, who play tomorrow. Not much change at the bottom. Sheffield Wednesday are about to kick off against Norwich. Queen's Park Rangers play tomorrow. Preston stay in the relegation zone after their draw with Bristol City. Let's have a quick look at League One. Leyton Orient came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2 at Bristol Rovers. They're now 4 points clear. Tranmere stay second. They also mounted a comeback to draw with Northampton. Southend climbed to third after winning at Port Vale. 4 straight wins now for Steve Tilson's side. Bournemouth slipped to the bottom after losing 3-1 at home to Carlisle. Port Vale, whose manager Martin Foyle left in midweek, are above them only on goal difference following that defeat against Southend. Millwall and Gillingham, who ended Leeds' perfect start to the season, complete the bottom 4. A quick look at Coca-Cola League 2. Paul Ince's MK Dons are the new leaders after their win at Morecambe. Darlington slipped to second after they were held at home by Peterborough, and Hereford fall to third thanks to the defeat at Grimsby. Wrexham have moved off the foot of the table after ending a run of 6 straight defeats with victory over 10-man Lincoln. And Mansfield are the new occupants of the basement spot after they lost at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. Early days in the Blue Square Premier. Torquay 4 points clear at the top after coming from behind to beat Droylsden 2-1. And let's take a look at the bottom. The bottom side, Northwich Victoria, suffered their 11th defeat in 12 matches, losing at home to Woking. In Scotland, Celtic back on top after they beat Dundee United, and Rangers are held by Motherwell. Hibs keep up the pressure in third with their win over Kilmarnock. Inverness move off the bottom after beating Falkirk. Gretna's 6th defeat of the season means they're now stuck at the foot of the table. Just to say, you can see all the goals from all the Barclays Premier League games and the Birmingham-Manchester United game that's still to be played in tonight's match of the day. It's a 10:25 start here on BBC One. Now, well, Chelsea. It's all about Josie not being there.
The significance of Chelsea's point today at Stamford Bridge is that Arsenal now go 19 points on 7 games. Manchester United away at Birmingham have got to win to keep it tight. Meanwhile, Chelsea are losing ground.
More from Graham and Garth to come. Looking ahead a few days, with Champions League, Championship and UEFA Cup games coming up in midweek via the red button. A score service will operate on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night from 7:30. And today's score service continues now via the red button. All the results and the tables will cycle on the screen, and we expect to hear from the likes of Arsene Wenger, Avram Grant and Rafa Benitez in the next few minutes. But this is where we say goodbye to BBC One viewers. Debate and discussion and post-match reaction to today's football continues via the red button.